Does the death penalty violate the Constitution? A certain Supreme Court judge asks if it's even legal to begin with a ruling on lethal injections. As a human being, you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Let's say if you murder someone or rape someone, well, with all the rape victims afraid to come out and tell about their rapes, I don't think that makes them very happy. Therefore, that person's constitutional right of happiness, to say the least, are violated. And if you murder somebody, obviously their constitutional right to life will be violated because they will be dead. So in those instances, I see no reason why the death penalty would even be considered illegal. Obama's approval rating jumps to 2-year high. The president's numbers spike following a week of wins on same-sex marriage and health care, a new poll shows. Obamacare will increase health spending by $7,450. That's obviously a lot of money to someone who isn't a multimillionaire, Caitlyn Jenner. So if a gay couple wants to get married, that payment will obviously set them back quite a bit. And how are you going to get married when you're broke? Tennessee store puts up no gays allowed sign. In the wake of the Supreme Court's decision to legalize same-sex marriage in all 50 states, Jeff Amyx, who owns Amyx Hardware and Roofing Supplies in Grainger County, Tennessee, has decided to take a stand. On an 8x10-inch piece of blank paper, Amyx wrote, in all capital letters, "No gays allowed," and put it in the window of his store. Amyx is a Baptist minister and told WBIR that he realized on June 29th that he believes all Christians should proudly display their beliefs. He thinks should publicly display their beliefs. Yeah, that's right. Jeff Amyx, who owns a store dealing in hardware, is publicly displaying. He thinks it's wrong for someone to put their heart in you-know-where. Seriously, folks, I actually wanted to do the same thing. I wanted to own a liquor store, what else, with no gays allowed, LOL. You fudge packers and carpet munchers, go to Islam and tell them you want to get married. See how well they take it. Leave us alone. From one Jeff to another, I applaud you. Good going. What's the deal with this Rachael dolezal? When I was growing up, if you were a white kid trying to be black, you were classified as a wigger. Now we have this transracial bullshit. BBC News reports mystery amnesia woman identified. Unfortunately, third-wave feminists and the left-wing media got a hold of her, and now she hates men. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. Greece's government may resign in event of no vote. Greece's radical left government suggested it would resign if it fails to get its way in a make-or-break referendum Sunday that could decide the country's financial future. Honestly, I don't want to take credit for this because I thought it was a stupid idea, and that's why I didn't say it. The idea was for nobody to vote for anyone in the election. So when it was time for everybody to leave office, nobody can replace them. Stupid because the people are so retarded that they can't function without government. Ever seen that episode of Barney Miller where this guy owned a slave? Everybody wanted him to be free, but he said, I have a place to sleep, food to eat, and a roof over my head. The end of the episode comes, he's free, so then he goes, now what do I do? That's the majority of Americans. Nevertheless, it would be a good idea for U.S. government to resign, and it's great that Donald Trump is getting himself involved in politics, because I would love to hear the phrase, U.S. government, you're fired. Woman threatens abortion unless she's paid $1 million. Who would have thought the pro-abortion crowd could get any more disgusting or despicable, until now. Some psychotic pro-abortion harpy is threatening to abort her baby if the pro-life crowd doesn't come out with $1 million within 72 hours. The 26-year-old, yes, old enough to know better, is essentially holding a human life for ransom. This is why people question everything. This is why some people don't want to legalize pot. This is why people oppose government aid. This is why some people oppose putting criminals in jail and just go straight for death. This is why there is always someone taking advantage of something. A father was arrested for providing his 2-year-old daughter with cannabis oil. She was terminally ill. A boy with verbal autism can now speak because of marijuana. But for every 1 or 2 people who can actually benefit from medical marijuana, there are at least 5 more who want to sit there and smoke pot. A woman saw a kid locked in a heated car with the windows rolled up. She broke the window and saved the kid, but the couple had another car and ran into her. For every 1 cripple who actually need government assistance, there are at least 5 people who just sit there and abuse the system. I forgot to mention this, but that's why people also want a border, because most of the abusers are foreign. Some lunatic could just go and kill someone and wind up in jail, just taking up the space, being fed 3 meals a day, and essentially a roof over their head. Always someone taking advantage of something. Remember that. So in other news, Mitt Romney had a sleepover with 2 of the Republican candidates, Chris Christie and Marco Rubio. Can you imagine if this happened at the White House? I wouldn't advise on much sleeping there, because like Pastor Manning said, don't close your eyes in front of a sodomite. I guess I want to end today's video on a horrible note. A 22-year-old daycare worker is going to trial for sexually abusing 4- and 5-year-old kids. He is being held on $100,000 bail. I know I've insulted Michael Brown in the past, calling him a drugged-up thief and whatnot, but at least he had the common sense, and I use those words loosely, but he decided to strong-arm rob an adult. And that's what I want to classify as a dignified crime. Obviously, if you assault an adult, you're probably going to go to jail, but they should be able to defend themselves. If you sexually or physically assault a child, death penalty. I mean, I get upset when something the least bit physical happens to Will Robertson on Lost in Space, so I might be a bit biased, but come on. The only people who should be immune from assault are children and autistic people, because neither one of them can defend themselves. P.S. I don't really like any of my videos on a bad note, so here's this. Secret White House same-sex marriage reveal. A former Obama speechwriter tells how he performed a same-sex wedding in the Rose Garden before it was legal. I always knew Obama and Larson were partners. Now we all know the reason he married Michelle, the transsexual. Because the Larry Obama marriage wasn't legitimate yet.